Hi, guys. Today I'm here to talk about our periods. Periods are taboo in the East, but in the West, it's called disgusting. That's what I hear from most of my younger clients or teenage clients. We have to understand how futuristic and forward was our Sanatana Dharma because I know it will continue to be because there's no Adi or Antya for our Sanatana Dharma. But when I give you a Eastern philosophy, most of our current generation doesn't talk much about menstruation. Even if there is information, it is when they meet a gynecologist. Otherwise, there's a lot of misinformation around this subject because our generation, the previous generation, gave us a different outlook altogether. Let me take up the Eastern philosophy. Ritusrava. When it is healthy, we have that 28-day period cycle along with the moon. That's why it is also called as moon cycle. It is when the girl is ready to home another being, when her womb is developed to nurture. She is called a Rutumati when she attains that age where she reaches that enough maturity where the body understands certain hormonal changes can be balanced. It is called menarche. If you see Sanatana Dharma, the temples were a big establishment, just like museum. I don't know if you ever had a chance to go to the real temples where there are sculptures. And if you see the bottom row of the temple, it is applicable for kids. You will see all kinds of like Cartoon Network kind of a thing where there's elephants, animals, and they're doing million other things. The mid-level height would be for like the teenagers, and the most erotic ones are at the top, teaching adults what they need to do and the subjects they need to learn. So Sanatana Dharma has never been something that can banish women from, doing things or anything like that. It has always highlighted how beautiful a woman is. And with respect to periods, Shushruta Samhita describes that a boy who is a celibate, who is in his brahmacharya, who has indriya nigra, sense control, is as equivalent as the girls who's also not sexually active but reached menarche, has that sense control, indriya nigra, and practices abstinence, brahmacharya. So it is a lot of important time during this period where the girls are taken care. Really maintaining health was the most important aspect of their life. There is a reason why we didn't want to really allow girls to do anything and sit in a corner. I mean, I had to practice it a little bit because if in case I went to an in-laws home where they practiced it, I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm quite modern and all those things. So yes, I got to know that side of how it is to just stay away from everything. We are not considered as untouchable or anything, and it's not like the bleeding part is unhygienic and that's why we have to be away from everything. No, according to Ayurveda, it is the time of rajas in the body. Some go through 3 days, some go through 5 days, some go through 7 days. Women's body goes through a lot of changes during this time. When we see our own body, there are different sleets of body. In yoga, we learn, there are different ones. So there is stula deha, that is our physical body that our parents gave us. We've gotten it for our existence on this planet. Now the next one is the sukshma deha, where the ancestors talk about 72,000 nadis. Where do you think they exist? How do you think your heart beats naturally? What is that gut feeling that you get? How does the brain work? How does the connection work? And it's all voluntarily working. Um, and we don't even think about those things. So, Sukshma Sharira coordinates our Prakriti, the Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha. Movement controlling is handed to vata. Metabolic control and activities is handed to pitta. So these prakritis dominate during our period cycle. Periods, when we have that extra activity, the body of Stula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira needs to adjust and balance. And if you see in this world, balance of nature happens very beautifully, peacefully. When apana vayu, the downward flow is excess during periods, it's taking over the uterus so that uterus can remove its lining. Now, the stula and sukshma sharira have to adjust maintaining body temperature, adjust that this activity is the main highlight. So, you're almost handing the body to have its own time there so that it can finish this whole apana vayu activity. Just like when a woman goes in labor, she's not doing anything else. She is doing the thing that she needs to do by resisting that contraction and then, assisting the body to expel the baby. So, luckily, our body knows how to balance it. When our blood flows, our pitta also increases. The body temperature increases at that time. So that's why, sitting in one place, enjoying our time was encouraged. We were not allowed to go to temples during this time because our temples are energy grids, like servers in Northern Virginia. These grids are alive, radiating energies. The influence of our mind and body, uh, this temple grids, influence our mind. We combat stress and gain inner peace and mastery over our mind when we visit our temples. Agama Shastra mainly particularly says that temples are Shakti Pitas. So our ancestors have designed temples' main sanctum to emit certain aura. Again, this affects our Sukshma Sharira. Those 72,000 nadis we spoke about, that energy field around us is impacted by going to temple. Idols, there are some idols in India where they are bathed with certain milk, honey, and everything, and that prasada itself can act as a cure for a lot of skin diseases. So it is made of arsenic, mercury, different metallical combinations. So we can't really, understand what it can do to our sukshma sarira. We come from rich heritage and lineage of wise ancestors, not just 200 years back of science minded people. So you have to understand that Sukshma Sharira can be impacted when we go to temples. Another thing why our ancestors asked us not to go to temples is because we used cloth at that time. They didn't want us to stain our clothes and then be embarrassed. So that's why we didn't go to temples. One more thing, we were not allowed to shower during those periods time. Probably it was water conserving, or another thing that can be explained more ayurvedically is showering is also a task. They don't want us to exhaust our body with any other activity. That's why no showering was also given as a condition there. It alters our temperature. Then going to temple becomes bigger task because again, you're washing yourself, then you're wearing cloth underneath, you might be staining yourself, and then the temples are Shakti Pita. So it's not an embarrassment. And you know that's why women were prohibited from doing all these things. Otherwise, why would Sanatana Dharma even have Ambuvachi? The Kamakya temple celebrates Rutushrava of the goddess. We never considered these things as taboo because we in Sanatana Dharma have given a woman position of goddess. That's why, when you call younger girls, you say, come here in a very nurturing way. Uh, we also depict Matru Swarupa. We don't come from rib cage of a man, or we are not here as a pleasurable thing for a man. In Sanatana Dharma, we are given that goddess position. Our ancestors had valid reasons for all these things. Again, during periods, we are asked not to shower, temperature alters, no cutting hair, no cutting nails, no day sleeping, no shouting too loud, no laughing loud, no sounds that can be loud. Only reason is the vata. When apana vayu is at that peak, vata is the main vata is the main function is for the movement. When vata increases, our bone density goes down. So when you think about hair and nails, these are byproducts of ashtidhatu, where the vata needs to be balanced here. If you ever noticed hip fractures when you get old, that is only because the vata has gone down, or it is in a different Vikruti form. So when Apana Vayu is high, cutting nails or hair can also interfere with the process. Our Sanatana Dharma documented all these things. It's time tested. Nowadays, I cannot mention the trend of leaving hair untied and walking around because most of the high schoolers do. I do have my hair out, but this is just for the video. But understand, our Sanatana Dharma is so broad minded, understanding the interconnectedness. When girls have their first periods, we still celebrate it as a big function. Even nowadays in South India or even in United States, we have half sari functions. That is just to make the girl experience that it is a delightful period of your time, and that periods go on all her life, at least half of her life. So I remember a few of my classmates when I was in school did not even come to school for 20 plus days because that tiny body is maturing into adulthood. She's gaining access to higher virtues and qualities that the body will develop so that she can become a young adult. Her mind develops, the glands and organs in the body are developing. What a great time of life when the girls go into periods. But we've reduced over a period of time, these functions got reduced only because were invaded by many pervert outsiders. So that's why we didn't want to show off the girls. But otherwise, if you can teach your girls that it is a celebratory thing, you celebrate your uterus, it is not disgusting. We are taught how to rest during that time because of the vata being high. When vata is high, rajas, the guna in the mind, also gets high, where it is naturally agitated and restless. Easy way to combat that is to bring in a little bit of tamas in the body. Have normal to very little activity. By staying put in a place, our mind is bored without any activity. That in return reduces the agitation and restlessness. But instead, nowadays, we add so much of activities. We binge watch, we eat bad food, we do several things. We use tampons to go into swimming. We do every other activity in the name of I am no less. I can do anything I want. But instead, adding meditation, relaxing poses, even yoga for that matter. I see a lot of pregnant women and periods women doing yoga that are not good for them. You have to understand this is the time to bring in a little bit of balance so that your prakriti doesn't get imbalanced later. This knowledge our ancestors knew very well. It is our wealth to pass on to the next generation. There was no reasons called PMS. It's never healthy to have those imbalances. Most gynecologists don't think these things because they come from a medicinal perspective. The hormone imbalances are not normal. They make it seem like it's normal. Gynecologists nowadays have only birth control pills or they go to the extreme of hysterectomy. But Ayurveda has so many herbs that can really enhance our uterus health. It is about you guys advising younger girls to take control of their food intake and their daily lifestyles. Routine changes can really eliminate all these possibilities of PCOS and PCOD. When I was young, I'd never heard about infertility. It was really like one in probably 200, 300 people you will know, far relative who's unable to conceive. Guess what? Nowadays, the whole deal has become bigger and bigger. Lot of kids are struggling with PCOS, PCOD, infertility issues. They're so common. Of course, there are many other factors that we need to take in consideration here. But again, just give a beautiful idea of periods to the girls nowadays. It is not disgusting. In the East, when I talk about teenagers, they all don't even want their periods. They say, we'll get a pill that makes our periods one time in a year. It is not going to help you. In the name of convenience, we lose being women. With all the synthetic intervention, we have ruined womanhood. The organ that gives us power is the storehouse for hate nowadays. And when you're in late 30s, you have a desire to have baby, your uterus is shocked with hormone injections in the name of IVF. Uterus has no idea. It just thought when you were having your periods, it was a storehouse for all the hate and disgust. How can it all of a sudden switch to making baby for you? Newsflash, it's not happening. When I do energy healing therapy, I understand these were all given as a belief for the girls as they interact with other people. Please inform your girls so they can really understand that uterus is the biggest gift for a woman's body. So many of the male female inequality emotions are all stored in uterus. It is sad to teach. It is sad to really understand these things when I do healing therapy. And it is hard to teach because every period we get is like a report, what our body went through whole month, how we ate, what our lifestyle is in those 28 days. If you were not good to your body, your uterus is just showing you that. It is not really saying uterus hates you and giving you cramps. No, it is just showing you what you put in was not good. So please advise anybody whom you know that it is a portal. We have to make healthy humans. Storing bad emotions is not going to make you a healthy baby. It's about quantity, not even quality. So humanity is given a bigger, challenging, and a better job for a woman. It makes no sense without owning that we want to compete being a man somewhere else. If you have younger girls who are struggling with PMS or any kind of issues, reach out to an Ayurvedic professional who can understand the imbalance and correct it so that she has better relationship with her periods. Similarly, it goes to all those women who are in their menopausal phase. The damage that you have done to your uterus by significantly hating your husband or the male or your boss, it is going to store there. When it reacts, when it is showing you hot flashes, when you have mood swings, don't really go bad about it, go bashing about it. Instead, understand how to change your diet, how to change your lifestyle, and what to eat so that your uterus can gain its power. Our body never lies, it is just doing us a favor by showing what you are doing wrong. In this world of social stimulation, we still have the hardware of an ancient. Our body is just overly stimulated with constant things. Like software is very new, many softwares available, but the hardware is still old. So make sure your diet and lifestyle goes back to how we were before, resting, happy, taking care of yourself. Because if we don't do that now, we will be wondering what womanhood is or what is that being women, because a lot of people are definitely confused. We have only heard from our parents, be like a man, earn more so you can be independent. I did too. But guess what? It is moral obligation for a woman to make a good baby for the future generation of this planet. That is the most fulfilling thing. Of course, there are a lot of women who don't want to have kids, who don't want to continue with it. in the name of population explosion. But if you think about another 20 years, our population is diminishing. Infertility rates are increasing. Please help all the girls to understand that their periods is something that they need to be proud of, not something that they need to hide or escape. Thank you for watching. See you in another video. Bye.